So hello there, this is lesson 3 and this is Robin Daniel Chalaswamy. We are continuing with Remembrance, Passover to Pentecost, a study about communion. And we kind of briefly looked what God did in Passover in Exodus 12, and then fast forward, we were in the book of John chapter 6, where Jesus fed the 5,000 people. And he is making an amazing statement there, saying that people, you are following me because you think I'm going to feed you with physical food, just like he fed the 5,000 people. But Jesus said there is much more to this. And this is a place where Jesus is making one of his famous, if I may, I am statements. So Jesus says here in John chapter 6, especially verse 32, he repeats that again in verse 35 and 48. He says, I am the bread of life. And Jesus referring to another incident in Exodus, where the Israel people has been brought out of Egypt. They crossed the Red Sea, all miraculous things, and they complained, we don't have any food. So Moses prays, and then there you go. God provides people with food. They provide them with something called manna. It says it's similar to coriander seed. It looked like snow on the ground or frost on the ground. It was covered. The whole camp of Israel was covered and they could collect the food. Read it. It's an amazing story. But Jesus quickly refers back there and says, you think Moses gave you food from heaven? You are wrong. I am the food from heaven. Wow. That's a different statement, isn't it? And then following that, Jesus says, you have to drink my flesh. You have to eat my flesh and drink my blood. When Jesus said that, when Jesus said, he asked everyone, unless they eat his flesh and drink his blood, there is no life in them. What did this cause? A lot of them to leave him. A lot of his disciples, hearing that, they left him. They said, this is too hard. We can't understand what he is all about. So basically they are saying, this is not right, guys. Either he's a loony. I'm not saying this is scripture. I'm just thinking, people might have thinking, nah, this guy is crazy. They might have been thinking all sorts of things. But if they left Jesus, there was no love, was there? This is what Jesus was referring before. He knew what is in their heart. A lot of people, and if you read further down in John chapter 7, it says even Jesus' own brothers and sisters, the people he grew up with, even they didn't believe in Jesus. It is sad, but true. So, going back, Jesus said, I am the bread of life. If you don't eat me, if you don't drink me, you don't have any part in me. Now, why did Jesus say that? Why did he say that? To understand it further, let's go to John chapter 15, verse 5 and 6. Jesus says, I am the true vine. You are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not abide in me, he is cast out as a branch and is withered. And they gather them and throw them into fire, and they are burned. So Jesus is saying you have to be connected to me. I am the vine and you are the branches. So vine meaning the main part of the plant. So if you're not connected to him, we don't have any life. So we have to be one with him. We have to be in communion with Jesus is what he is trying to refer here. So again, just work with me here. Jesus is the Passover lamb. As I said, he is referred to as the Passover lamb. We have to eat him. His blood saves us from death. And here Jesus says you have to be one with him. Now, how can we be one with him? Don't take this physically, because Jesus says further down in the book of John chapter 6, he says, the words I speak to you are spirit and life. So Jesus is sharing spiritual truths here. We should not take it literally, because he did say further down, look guys, I'm not talking that you should come and just chop me off and then eat it. That's not what Jesus is saying. Jesus is clearly saying, what I'm saying is spiritual truth. Those who have ears, hear. So, what is the spiritual truth that Jesus is trying to say? We can be one with him. How can we be one with him? How can we What is Jesus trying to say? If it's confusing, it's not confusing at all. But I will explain more of that in the next lesson. So please work with me and join me in this journey. It's amazing. So until next time, God bless.